Flu is an absolutely devastating infection, and I think people underestimate it. As a physician myself, I have sadly both suffered from flu on one occasion and also seen patients who are really taken apart by this infection. For most people who are lucky, it can be self-limiting, 2 to 7 days of feeling really very unwell. But for those who have other underlying health conditions or who are very young or very old, then really flu can hit them incredibly hard. It can cause huge complications and even in some cases end in death.
Well, this is the most ambitious vaccination campaign ever, because not only are older people in Scotland and people with medical conditions who are vulnerable to flu, like asthma, like myself, or women who are pregnant getting the vaccination, but also for the first time young children, 2 and 3 year olds, and they get a nasal spray, and that's really important as we spread out the vaccination campaign. You know that 5,000 children a year in Scotland end up in hospital as a result of flu or flu complications, and we're going to make a huge dent in that with the vaccination programme for children as well. So let's get safe this winter. Let's keep Scotland safe from flu.
I'm very proud to be associated with the campaign. I have to say I feel very strongly about it. And the seasonal flu campaign in Scotland has always been hugely successful. Up until now, we've recommended the vaccination of all over 65s, as well as healthcare workers, unpaid carers, and a number of other groups who have underlying health conditions. And this year we are rolling out the first phase of the childhood flu vaccination programme. So that's the really big advance this year. This year we're planning to target 2 and 3 year olds, so all 2 and 3 year olds in Scotland will be offered flu vaccination, and that's principally because they're probably the most at risk of flu infection. They haven't had a chance to build up any immunity, and they're also more likely to be hospitalised if they do get flu.
I just feel like because he's only 2, he's so small and fragile, and if he was to get flu, it could be so serious and it could land in hospital. I couldn't bear the thought of him being as ill as that. So it just makes perfect sense to just come and get him vaccinated to prevent against it. And the fact that it's in the nasal spray form is just so much better and far less invasive than the injection.
As well as doing 2 and 3 year olds, we're taking the opportunity to do a number of primary school children across the whole of Scotland, because the plan will be to roll out the flu vaccination programme to all 2 to 17 year olds.
Flu is a very, very serious illness, and its complications can be deadly. And this vaccination programme, the estimation is it's going to save 600 lives. Now, all medical programmes are really important, but there are not that many that are going to save 600 lives. So whether you're an older person, or whether you've got one of the medical conditions, or whether you've got the young kids, and come and get your flu injection or your nasal spray from the practice nurse, and let's keep Scotland safe.
If you've got a health condition like asthma, diabetes, or heart and liver problems, and you get the flu, it's not just you it affects, as I found out.
Aren't you going to make my big game, Dad?
You've got me worried sick, love.
You're in a bad way, mate. You need oxygen.
So if you've got a health condition, no matter how fit you feel or how young you are, go and see your GP and get your free flu vaccine.